high position line directions. Okay. We are now live. See you in school. Setting up simplifications lines all levels. Simplicity is the best, especially when you come into your foundation line streams. It's amazing that you guys are excited and you want to do this and you want to do that. But to really understand this, you have to understand your handler. Everybody has a handler. Everybody knows what that is. Think of it as a tag. Think of it as a text. Think of it as a solar direct line setting. Think of it as an activation stream set locations. Think of it as a correlation position of panel operation stream. Think of it as a position line directions to formation setting. Truly understand your system is truly understand all levels of you inside. Now, I know you guys want to get into your equations, but it's complicated if you don't understand the activations to your stream. You guys are open from 0 to 10, plus 2 line setting in set locations is 12. Okay. Your chakras are not open to 114 yet. So I think it's fantastic that you guys are coming into higher levels of equation settings and numbers. But the problem is that they are not open to pattern location, right? That's why you can't see them, because they're not activated. Okay. Simplicity is best. The formation locations to anything that line setting puts you at all levels of direct locations from its very beginning. Okay. Understanding how that works, you understand the set locations when it comes into all levels of view, right? Recognition of time setting, allocate position locations, helps you and always informs, right? Getting you ready for what happens next. Okay. Your direct signal is to understand how to get impositions to your equations. Okay, because you have the weekend. There's no class tomorrow. So you have to understand the basics. Basics is an example of everything. Okay. So basically, you don't just basically eat a piece of toast and not understand what you just finished doing. Knowing is eat it. So you're in a basic life has to be simple. More and more, right? There's a lot of instability. That's going to balance out communications. It's going to set lines. So I don't want to go too high because there's a lot of instability and there's a lot of triggers today because you guys are confused with your set lines of your equation sets. So a perfect example is really understand how to set lines in your communications cyclones. Send communications all the stream interferences, recognize your timelines and how to sequence location of patterns. Simple is all direct locations, guys. Okay. So as we get into our equations, we start off with 0. Okay. So you can set up 3 zeros, 4 zeros, it doesn't matter. So let's start off with all locations of 4 zeros in a bracket. That's a bracket. This is a hanger. That's a hanger. That is not a box. This is a box with a 7. This is trifactor, flux capacitor. Okay? This is a hanger. Okay? This is a bracket. Understand? Bracket, hanger, box. All right? Simple, easy, done. Now, hanger is very high. Hanger doesn't come into position locations between 50, airline extended location of 70 chart locations. 50 to 70. All right? Trifactor sets lines all line position locations of crisscross line centers in 0 locations into 114. Okay? So you can trifactor any line center interference. Now you already know that your 110 to 114 is your positions to your weathers, which is correlated position your seasons, right? A summer, spring, winter, and fall. But you don't have to know that yet. You are in the basics, foundations, coming into your 13 communication, which is your higher self. So what's the point of trying to figure out what 21, 22, or plus 2 set? Okay. Stability being positions back in set line. Okay. That's 10 over 2 over pi. Okay. Simple, easy, done. Don't get complicated with number patterns. Break it down. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Break it down. Break it down. Zero gravity line setting. So you got 0, 0 bracket locations into equal line conditions of box, equal line center locations of triangle. Okay. In position locations into bracket 0 locations of pi. Easy. Done. One setting. 1 equals locations of 1, 0, 0. So bracket 1, 0, 0, locations. I'm going to add a hanger in there because I know what I'm doing. I'm going to hanger line center of 6. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to go in position locations. Now, when you go back, you have to travel back. So if you're going underscore, you go minus plus. Okay. So the 6 goes back. 6 equal line conditions of 1. And the 6 goes back into the center line, into the Merkaba position, in set location. There you go. You have to recognize what you are doing. You're setting up frames of equation through a story. And that story has to recognize you in your geometric operation of direction of what you're doing through design. Okay? That's what you need to do, is break down your numbers. Okay? So, now when you get into letters, numbers, and shapes, letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, break it down. Break it down. Letters, start with that, right? Just don't set up an equation of letters, numbers, and shapes, because the thing is, it gets too confusing through block locations into panels. So you just break it down in graphs. That's all it is. You're breaking the files. If you have a file that's too big, you can't do it. It won't download. It's like your computer. If you get a file that's too big, it's going to say you can't download it on your cloud. Okay? So you got a level line center, level equal locations into ground line, okay, into bracket of 0, 0, locations over pi. Now you got a number sequence pattern, okay, so that's 6. You're being specific. The specifications is telling exactly what you're doing. So 6 equal location of triangle, 3 weather patterns, okay, it's at locations of pi. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. Now you come into symbols. Symbol locations, Fibonacci swirl, set locations into a triangle setting. It set locations into a Merkaba setting, locations into a test work setting. Okay. And that's over pi. Okay. And then you break it down to all levels of shapes. Triangle, triangle, locations into box. Okay. Setting signal locations into 2. And position location equals box into trifactor locations. I got to do up here. Trifactor. Okay. Time sector. Now, time sector is very high rise line setting with hanger line setting. So I go back in position locations to time sector. Okay. You can do a slash if you want. Time sector line setting. And then you go sector locations of pi, which means this goes back in center. Okay. Break it down when you're doing your equations. Do a graph. Your video screen set lines. Your TV has a graph screen. Okay, your TV has graph strings. Each has a block line setting. Has position of 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's got 4 down. Okay, 4 down. Okay, so it's got 4 across and 4 down. Okay, in position locations of mass, okay, which is all levels of C, which is calculation, right? To and from. Setting calculations of 2 into position. Center of correlation of pi. Okay. Simple, easy, done. Simplify it. Every time you do an equation, break it down. So you say you go for the shapes. Okay. Start with the shapes, right? You break down the letters. I think you're confused when I said actually get into the past, present, and future, but you have to break down the shapes. So you get an S line, equal line conditions to an H line, in position locations to an A line, okay, over pi. And that's just position locations into 3 shapes of position location of letter settings. Now I can go through perception, a set line, into a half pipe, and a 6 line in communication. Okay? So everything I do here is in position location of its box position into trifactor. Okay? Break it down. So when you do these things, it gets much easier over time. Okay? But you got to break it down. Each letter, each number, each symbol, each shape. Okay? So the process location of S is position of its own pi correlation. You got system. Because remember, you're not just dealing with a word. Okay? You got correlations to all position lines of Sam. Okay? Steel. Okay? And sleep. Right there, all through S. You have to break it down. That's a correlations of 1, 2, 3, 4, all through S. Okay? So you're systematically inclined setting line position of S line position locations into Y comes in position locations of flux capacitor, E line conditions into teleportation stream, inline position of energy line interference. Let's go in position underscore positions of pi, sets positions back into all line positions, and travels in its set location. All through system, all through pi, right? There's all different ways of doing an equation. I'm just showing you how you just have to simplify everything. It gets easier as you understand your settings, but going way too high in division location of numbers doesn't help the equation, does it? Right? It's fantastic when you do these things. If you set a correlation system of a hanger line settings into 0, 0, 0, 1, equal locations into 54, 54 locks its time setting in position location in the correlation setting, doesn't help the situation. Right? Now, that's one hanger. That's not a full hanger, that's a one hanger. This is a full hanger location. Sideline, flux capacitor. Okay? So setting location of north is set location of east, and position location of south, and all line center location of west. And 3 0 line settings, full hanger of correlation in position to its direction of travel calculation setting in set location. Okay? So when you're adding higher numbers, if you're locking 54, you start with 54, setting location of timelines, set location line conditions of 4. 4 comes into position. So Basically what I'm doing is I'm crossing signals, crossing wave center line settings. So I take the eagle line center location of 8, line conventions of 8 position locations, and all line setting into 8 equals 8, 8, 8, 8 position location here, slash position 8 line setting location position. So you have to really recognize what you're doing. I don't need to add pi because pi is already there. I don't have to save pi because pi is already there. They're done. It's already done through GOD. It's all position of what I'm doing through travel. So I'm traveling through 54, traveling through equal, traveling through T, traveling through equal, traveling through 8, traveling through 8, traveling through 8, traveling through 8, 8, 8. All levels of travel. Recognizing what you are doing through your own pi. Okay, and that's why you guys start off with 0 to 10. So you got a 0 line setting, equal locations of 10, plus lines in line position of 2. Okay, 0 equals position line centers of 10, right? See, this is position line centers of what you guys are coming into. 10 plus 2. So 10, okay, which is over, right? Override. When you're overriding something, you're going through 10 plus 2. 10 plus 2. Okay? So that's an override, which means it's highlining its signals into error communication. It's a higher level. It's a higher equation of its formula. So getting in that position locations, you come in this line setting. 0 location of 0, 0. 3 is the location of line conditions into 10. Set plus locations of 2. Okay. Now, you got 3 line chart settings in position of flux capacitor. Flux capacitor locations into VAS. Equal line conditions into acceleration, which is travel through line setting locations and position locations into a road graph stream. There's a formula, there's an equation. Okay. So you got 10 line settings, right? There's 10 line settings right there. There's the 10, right? Now the 2 line comes into security, right? Which is 10 lines, 10 in positions times. Now when you get a timeline center, you come into XT. XT line center comes into 102,000 line settings. 102,000 line settings. Get in position location and stability, bring it back, try line connections. All right. So again, let's go into 12. Equal line conditions of all position locations into 1, 0. Let's go into 2, 0 line setting. So you go into a bracket, you can bracket the 2 locations, and this is pi equals pi. Okay. Now pi stands on its own, becomes its own perception. Perception becomes its own intelligence. So the perception comes into positions of a platform, comes into all levels of its intelligent line setting, into its positions, all levels, high center generation streamlines and correlation system and position locations of scanning settings through pi. So you have to find a way to use your GODs through pi, through schematics. It's all correlated in position location of design, guys. Okay? It's more fun when you get more position line directions. Okay, so let's go 13 setting into equal locations into bracket center location of 0, bracket locations of 0, in equal locations in set lines into box. Let's go equal locations into triangle. Let's go position locations into star. Set line communications into flux. Setting line connections. Okay, when you get into flux line, it gets complicated because now you're going to flux capacitor. So that line position locations into equal line connections of 2. Set line position locations into bracket 0. 2 0 line centers and 2 equal locations dash line position of 2. This is all formula. This is all equation. Okay. You really, really have to pay attention to these things. And everything that he set up, you're traveling through it. And you're trying to understand, what is he doing? But I'm seeing this. But does it make any sense? No, because you're not activated through the number sequence implications of its formation. Okay, so it's important you understand. You start off with 0 and what you know, not what you don't know. Because there's no point writing a formula of equation if you don't understand what 66 line setting equal location is, position line setting, and high generous and streamlines in a bracket location of 0. 66 equals 0. You have no idea what I just did. That's a formula. That's equation through pi. You start off with pi. And when you get to higher line settings, you understand what 6 is in locations to another 6 line position. Okay? Which is all communication in your throat of interception line settings into your location setting. Okay? Which is your file as a correlation. Okay? 0 stands in point view. 0 doesn't have to be on the ground. 0 can be at the top. This is an angle point position line directions right here in triangulation. Okay? Recognizing what you are doing through all levels of formula. Okay, starting off with the basics. Let's go again. Okay, this is going to be complicated stuff. I'm just going to show you what it is when you go to higher advanced line position locations or correlation settings in set locations. It's complicated stuff, but position location of direction line settings opens all position locations into 0 high center interference in position locations all level system locations in travel line settings in set location of Fibonacci's in set location settings in high line rotations in position locations of pi positive locations into negative line setting. See? Formula is equation through pi. Right? So, starting in with the simple terms, line centers, 0 locations of 1 line center goes into 2 positions equals line conditions of 4 in set location. So the reason why you do this back and forth is because you're traveling forward and you're traveling backwards in location. All right? Doing these things through equation setting shows you a little bit more how to see location setting inference. So setting position locations of this, right? For example, Tara's doing this. Okay, she's doing a lot of pluses. Plus, okay, box equals plus, box equals triangle, right? So, and this equals locations of pi, right? Or over pi. Okay. Now you got 2 plus line settings. Set location, right? Which is a Y line setting. Okay. Which is not a flux capacitor setting. Okay. If you get too many pluses in position locations, what does it do? It overrides its system in 3 lines location. Okay. So I'm just showing you the importance of what to do and how to do these things. It gives you a better understanding how to really get in control of what you're doing through travel. Okay. You have to recognize these things every single day because that's what your life is. It's all based on abundance through manifestation. You have to learn how to use your formulas through your equations of 0 to 12. Okay. It's so simple if you understand the position that you're in. To understand how to use all levels of you through his equation. All right. So I'm always working with all levels of 0. If I go to 114, bracket center line conditions, equal line conditions of weather, set location of galaxies, equal line conditions into its box line condition. There's a formula right there through triangulation. But you have no idea what I just did. Right? This is all levels of GOD, right? You have to get into drawings. So what you're doing is you're creating a box. A box turns into a 7 turns into a 2 turns into a star setting, right? But it's the same thing. Back to its equation, back to its box. Box, 7, 2, star, back to box. So setting line positions, let's go locations. Box is position of what? Over, because you're traveling, right? 7 in position of 2 is what? 7 to 2 is what? Back. It's not going forward, is it? 2. If 7 is in position of center and 2 comes in positions of levels going forward, it's not going forward, is it? It's going back because it's 2. If it was position location of 2 and then 7, and then you go forward over pi. So you got to be very careful of what you're doing with your triangulations of your numbers and signification of patterns, right? Very simple. So this is underscore of pi. Hoo-ah. See now? Do you see how that works? Do you see how you go in that correlation setting? Okay, take out line center and blend up position line out. There you go, blend it, you're out. After position locations in your schematic line setting. Do you understand the importance? So if you go into 0, 1, and 2, and you go into 6, and you go into 1000 line setting, where's the off system? Where's the off system? Right? So you got 1 equals line position of 2, 2 position locations, where's the 3? 3 line center locations, where's the 4? Where's the 5? And set location, right? So what's in order in position line directions? If this is not in order, this is only in order, right? So you high-rise line center level 1 position locations into 3 sets. Line connections all levels, 13 xt,000 line streams in set location. So this is in order. This is out of order. You understand? So it's important you understand the order, how it comes in a chronological line setting. Okay? So it's kind of like mixing patterns or line centers, line interference. You get a graph stream location into a video graph line setting. All right? Panel division location, 0. In position locations into 5. In position location of 4. In position locations into 4. In position locations into 3. So that's 0 line 1. Okay, either connections in 1 line. In position of 5. In 4 line position of solar generation stream set. In set location, other set locations. Into Fibonacci sequence into 3 line connections. In position locations to 3 equals 3 line position. All through a video graph screen, through your schematic line settings of wave central line settings. 0 line position location is alpha channel. Center line position locations into 5. 5 equals location of delta wave. 4 line center comes into 3 waving cycles equal location of a mega wave. 4 line center line interference goes into all position location of theta wave in communications. And 3 generation light stream in set locations comes in position locations to its mega setting. Okay. Do you see how complicated it gets? So always start off with what? Do you see anything out of the ordinary? Do you see me going from 25, 36, 46 numbers? No. I only see 0, 1, 5, 3, 3. And then I just see all the connections to the wave settings. Right? So the only thing that you focus on is what you already know, not what you don't understand. Because it's not open through sequence. Okay? So if you go negative, positive positions, what are you doing? You're going negative, positive, right? So you go negative, positive. That's what you're doing. Negative, positive. Okay, so negative, positive. That's what you're doing. You have to recognize what negative is. Negative is going back, right? Positive is going forward. So you're back locking, Belinda, forward locking. So when you're forward locking, you're setting up another clock setting in the Fibonacci swirl and position location at travel line settings locking system, which means you don't move in correlation. You stand at point view in your flux capacitor, staying in the center operation, trying to figure out what you're going to do. Until you understand line interference, you equalocations over pi. And then you take the position locations to travel through center line connection. Hoo-ah. So what you are doing is all levels of travel. I'm showing you how you can travel through letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, but you got to break it down. Break it down, okay? Through level line setting, you got level equalocations into one equalocations into 3 0 locations, bracket line center location into 3 sets. There's a formula, there's equation, all through letters, right? So letters in position locations of numbers. So if it's equal line connection, it's Merkaba, up and down, okay? 2 Merkaba settings, right? Which is line position locations grounds up, equals grounds up, and equals grounds down, okay? So it's really interesting when you look at these number sequence locations. I just showed you everything that you do has to be balanced. And if you're not balanced with your system, how are you going to understand anything in your thoughts? Through travel locations, through equations, right? So, all right. How's everybody doing? Tina actions, let's say scales, sets, lines, all else. Heather, AJ, Arlene, Yolanda. All right, took Belinda out. David, Madeline, Esther. Today's structures, Laura, Geneva, Val. Yeah, there is a little bit of instability, but it's back now. You guys are getting better balance line settings. Gypsy, communications, all the sets. So I'm just showing you how you have to have a friendship, relation, a partnership with everything that you do through equation, down to the T. The detail is everything that you do. Okay, Laura, Commander. Yeah, I'm just showing you the simple terms of everything. What is a plus? What does a plus do? What is a plus? What's your intention going forward? Simple. What is a negative? Going back. Negative does not go back. It goes forward. But if you get a position of a positive or negative line center or inline rotation interference, position location directions, going forward, going back, going forward. Okay? You have to recognize these things. What is the position of a triangle? What's your intention? Is it a triangle or is it a pyramid? What is it? So if it's a triangle set line centers, you got 4-point system. 4-point system location of flux capacitor, center line generation, streamlines, and position location calculation. Right? 0 gravity, 0 line position of 1, 1, 0, 0, brackets line center of 2, 2 position locations into 3, 3 line position of 3, 3 line position of 3, in triangulation. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Formula equation. So you have to really recognize what you are doing. Okay, what is the purpose of everything? What is the existence of geometric operation design if you don't understand you and how it works? It's all levels of you inside. If I get a 30 line 1 setting, 31, right, equals followers. Now that's 10 position line directions, equal line conditions. All right. XT line setting interference, bracket locations of 1 setting. Okay, positive over negative, positive over negative. There it is. It's simple. It's easy to do these things, all through formations. Okay. I'm showing you so many ways where you have to get relationship, set lines, and set location of friendship and position locations into partnership to its position. Friends equals relationship, circle of position locations, kaleidoscope line setting to partnership. Friends, relationship, partnership. Okay? Friends with GOD equal locations is everything to set line. Okay? So you have to get into not just your imaginations, but your phenomenal channels. Once you get into phenomenal channel, this puts you in a better balanced communication setting. So everything I do with their T setting is position of balance into the masculinity to the feminine system. Everything is balanced. Everything is travel. Everything is sequence. Everything is balance and position, location of travel. Everything has a core line setting in circle rotation position. Everything is balanced in correlation setting to the triangulation settings in position. Everything is in balance in its pyramid activation stream setting because it recognizes the position of its masculinity to femininity position location of travel locations in high settings. Okay. So yeah, you got to find a way to put how things work for you in a better track setting. You need a track, you need a magnetic force, you need a magnetic fields. You have to recognize what zero is and what it means to you. You have to recognize what one is and what it means to you. You have to recognize what two is, what three is, what four is, what five is, what's six, what's seven, what's eight, what's nine, and what's 10 location. Right? What is it? What does it mean to you? Do you have friendships, but maybe you don't have a relationship? So you got a friendship, relationship, partnership, bracket line center locations. Friend, relationship, partnerships with zero. Great. But you got an equal line center location of one. One doesn't understand the ground setting. So you just got friendship. So you need relationship, partnership with one. Two doesn't understand. So you get a box dot line interference, protect your security lines. So security needs high center interference of zero gravity position location to your flux passive location. Now, in position locations, all levels of three. Three is in Fibonacci swirl and set location. So it's in balance location of friendship, relationship, but not partnership. So if it's not a partnership, what is it? Negative over positive. They understand the position of friendship, relationship, partnership is position locations of 2 plus signs, not just one. So getting a correlation system of four line center has friendship, but doesn't have partnership, but has relationship. 6 line center location, throw pattern line interference location, use circle center line rotation interference, understand location into its theta setting location of its kaleidoscope. 7 line interference line position location 8 is infinity cycle. The rotation center line position of umbrella up and position location down. Bracket interference of 0, 0 bracket location into 0, 0 bracket location. Friendship, relation, partnership with 8. 9 line centers, all line position locations, all lines in its ground setting location, which means it's not in position, which means it's off grid set location. Okay? All that from 0 to 9. You understand? This is where you guys have to really, really get balance with all lines of communication settings and fractions, high center interference, position locations, longitude, latitude, ratio, proportions, all level positions, quasars, high center interference, time sequence, time lines, times pi, times sectors of pi, times sectors over pi, times sectors underlaying communications of pi. So if you understand what your thoughts are doing through its intelligence, you should know exactly what you're doing through your correlation, which is balance of what? Breaking these things down one by one. Okay? 0 equals one line setting. So in position locations into all levels XT 1000 line setting, in position location, you take the 0 line interference, equal line condition, position location of 0, line position locations into 4. right? So 4-line setting sets position locations into a half pipe of 6-line position. 5-line comes into timeline, opens all 6-line positions. 5 is up here in set locations, center line communication into 4-line center, going back and forth line positions, underscore line positions of pi. Okay. Framing settings is extremely important when you come into story frames. Okay, so that's the importance you have to understand. So if you're going through 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, break it down, 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 all in graphs. All in graphs. It gets confusing if you just do this. This doesn't make any sense. Right? Now, you start here. I'm here. I don't need to bracket because I know what I'm doing. You need to bracket so you get into structure first. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 lines at equal line conditions to a box into a theta setting line interference of 7 locations, equal line conditions over pi. Hooah. That's it. That's a formula, that's equation through 8 0 locations. You box the 7. Now set line conditions, I can add trifactor or time sector in position. Recognizing timelines is to understand how to see your position, location, and directions, and how you set your symbols, letters, numbers, and shapes, all through correlation. Breaking it down is a lot easier because you're traveling through it, right? Bracket location. Again, you're adding zeros on top of digital frames. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then again, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay? That's what you guys are doing. That's what you are doing. You're creating blocks of channels of information. Multi-pass. Okay? All right. Everything I do, you're traveling through. Okay? So you understand the importance, why they have to be in a compound, they have to be in a vector, they have to be in vast, they have to be in volume. If you get a position of volume, position location, equal line condition of 0, 0, 0, that's position of 3, and position of 3, and position of 3, and position of 3, center line communication, equal line conditions over pi, and set locations, setting position locations to your diamond set line conditions, into position locations to a UFO line center, in position location to your zero gravity and circle location settings, and to crop circle location. You have to know what you're doing. And that's important. So you start off with the basics. You always, 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 always start with 0. Okay? If you start with 44, you're already confused because 0's here. So forget the travel, forget the pre-flights or line center and location of check, 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 check. You're already at 44, but you have no idea because 44 is not open through signal. So 44 is going to go back in locations and set its signal locations into position of another planet setting into high center line interference of a virus calculation system into a back force triangle and set line rotations in correlation system, position location of its equation setting, and high line generation stream. All through 44. Right? Always start with 0 gravity. Okay? Simplify is everything. Catapulting, catalyst, setting line, position, location of your direct line setting is truly understand the importance. How you do your equations is your life. It's your life force. Now you can go back in reference, but you got to come back in present. You can't stay in the past line of your thought settings because it's changing per second, per channel, per operation, per square, per mile. If you're at 50,000 line signature line settings, okay, that's 50,000 lines, your bracket location of 3, right? So that's capacity of flux capacitor. Capacitor line conditions is over pi, okay? Which means your thoughts are always going forward. was this positive angle location. See, that's how it works. It's easy, guys. It's simple. Right? To understand you is to understand the process of what this is. Understand 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 what this is. Okay? Understand what this is. Understand what this is. Okay? It's all levels of you through DNA locations. You're doing this every single day of your life. Recognizing the grounds, the observation lines, circle locations, the angelics, and set lines of space communication setting. So every time you're going through your thoughts, it's traveling through the grounds, it's traveling through the atmosphere, it's traveling to dimensions every single day. And every time you change your thought, you're changing your directions of space and time through coordinates. Do you understand that? And again, that's why you have to break these things down with your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Okay? So this is a tree formation life setting. All right? Because that's what you are. You're a life force of a tree. Recognition timelines of thought, direction, and location in your timelines of sequence, location, and heart setting. You're creating anomalies of space and time through letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols through its formulas of its equation. Okay? That's all it is. 3-line sets, line conditions of 2. 2 comes in the position locations into 5 million channels. Right there. There's an equation right there. I don't need to add pi. Pi's already there. You don't see it. So in the coordination line setting, you guys need structure. You need equal line conditions of formation. You need equal line conditions of balance. You need to understand the balanced position of GOD, GOD, and GOD in all line settings. Okay? So, understanding what a triangle is, understand what a box is, understand what a star line setting is, understand what a UFO line setting is, understanding what a line is, understanding what 2 is, understanding what a plus is, understand what a negative is. It's all in correlation. Okay? So either you're going forward or you're going back. So think about it this way. You're going forward and you're going back and you're creating a flux capacitor. Think of it that way. Forward, back, down. Right? Signaling position, all levels of travel settings. Flux capacitor, coils, compressors, set lines. There it is. So the box is now traveling position locations in the 2 box line settings. Sets position location and position locations into all levels of a half pipe of 6 lines into star line settings. Setting position locations at 6 line setting in position locations. 6 is now traveling to 2 line settings. That equal line conditions, position locations is 8 setting. Hoo-ah. Now, if I want to keep traveling, it'll take the 8 line center in position of plus, equal locations of 8. Setting line position locations, 8 equals 0 locations, back in equation. See, it gets complicated if you don't understand your past, your present, and your futures, guys. Right? Past is always going to be a reference. And you have to start seeing it that way. When you get up in the morning, are you in the past of your timeline through your thoughts? Or are you in the center operation of the presence? Are you in the future adaptation of not knowing what's going to happen next? Where are you in your formulas of equation? Okay? That's what you got to ask yourself. Okay? So, the more balance you get yourself in position line directions, you come into self-direction. You come into self-anomaly. Your position of your program locations opens all channels of operator streamlines. Okay, so if I go through 1 million setting in set locations, so that's 1 million channels of operation, right? Channels. There's an equation right there. Easy done. I don't need to have the pi because the pi is here. Hello. Setting correlation setting. The reason why you have your position locations of 6 and position of 7 and position 8 and positions of 9. There it is. Diamond core. There's the formula right there in position of zero gravity location. Setting course lines of channel operator streamlines. Okay. Yeah, staying positive always informs, guys. But I mean, truly understand that what you're doing. Yeah, that's right, Val. You're mapping out your codes. Right. Your determination gets confusing because when you get up in the morning, do you have a past line that you connected to through a friend setting? Or are you waking up to the future setting? Or are you waking up to the now setting? What matters is that every time you get up in the morning, you are going forward. Not going forward, you're going back. There's no either way. You're going forward or you're going back. Space and time exist in center of everything. So you're here or you're here or you're here. So this is the past, this is the present, this is the future. Okay? So in position line settings, if you're in negative line rotations, you're stuck in the past of space. Now, space to understand the timelines because the past to understand positions, but once you get into the center line, you're in the present line, into the future calculations, into teleportation setting. Okay? So you really got to really pay attention to these things, right? So when you're looking at something, how are you looking at it? Are you looking in its past? Are you looking in its presence? Or are you looking in its future? It's split in 3 ways: past, present, future. Pi, pi, and pi. Triangulation, triangulation. Ooh, it's getting interesting. So once you send that line setting, this becomes pi, this becomes pi. I'm going to give you guys a multipass. What do you think you guys are? A pi. You are pi of everything. Pi of everything. You are the center of everything. This is where you come into all correlation system of yin and yang, guys. Yin and yang. Okay? Simplify everything. But you got to break it down. Okay? Full circle of pi. You stand in the center, inside or outside line center, inside position location, near the core locations. You are doing what? Going through space of time of pi. Which means you start off with what? 12, right? But you have 24. So you have 24 pieces of pi. But in your direct line settings, because your capacity is a higher level system, you've got 24,000 pieces of pi to deal with, plus your thoughts per second, per minute, per channel, per operation, per square, per mile. Okay? You're dealing that with every single day. And if you don't break these things down, you're going to get very confused through your formulas of an equation. Okay? You're in control of your reality from center, off center, feels, yeah. Yeah, practice is everything, but you got to understand the yin and yang of everything, guys. That's the basic understanding. The basic instructions is, like I said, every time you get up in the morning, where are you in the mind? Where is your altered state? Because I guarantee you, when you're seeing your system already in the future, you're already there. But every time you don't set your systems up high, you're going back in time. You're going back in clocking. You're going back in sequence. You're going back in factor. You're going back in refraction. You're going back in recalibration, recalculation, resetting, revamp, revas, re-to-vas. So there always has to be a positive and negative with you. But the direction you want to see in all level sequence locations of pi is seeing yourself all levels of going forward. Everything that you do, even if you think you're going in positions of past, where are you in your mind? This is where you come into the heart, the mind, and the soul. The body is just a reaction. That's all it is. It's a body of a reaction of space, time through its own position, location, of correlation. You have to remember these things. Okay? It's important you understand these things. Okay? Yeah, well, everything is a paradox. Okay? Paradox is position locations into this. So this is going forward, and this is going forward, and this is going back, and this is going forward in set locations. That's a paradox. Two line centers are going forward, and positions going back, and this is going forward. There's the confusion. A paradox is based on a Twizzler. We already know that, Twizzlers. So kind of understand the lacing line interference of two panels correlation settings, right? A paradigm is a position of a solar shift line connection that goes forward in position. A polarity is a line setting in an offline position. Okay? You have to recognize position location infinities. Okay? Because it's going one way or it's going the other way. Right? If you get a position location line settings, let's say you come to a four-way stop. Okay? Four-way stop. Okay? That's a four-way stop. Stop sign, stop sign, stop sign, stop sign. Right? You're here. Okay? You're here. Now, you can turn right on a red signal line setting, depends on location where it is, the graph line connection. So you turn right in set locations, all level setting, right? Which is a smooth track, which is you're moving forward, right? No hesitation. So you're going through the position 2 equals second rule. Okay? A little bit of driving experience, understand locations when you're going through a two-way or three-way or four-way in position location of travel. It's the same thing with space, right? So just give you an example to set location of what you're doing. Your life is always moving forward. And if you're not moving forward, your mind is moving back. That simple. So the heart, the mind, and the soul is what you concentrate on through its position location of its pi. The heart recognizes line centers into timelines and set locations. Times equals heart in set location. So the mind sets position to its image and set location to its structure setting to its schematic line interference. Okay? And the soul is the recognition line setting of position locations and center calculations into its yin and yang. So recognizing the heart, recognizing the mind, and recognizing the soul is all process of yin and yang. Okay? Know thyself. Trust thyself. Know that I am doing what I am doing through thyself. Thyself in all lines of all calculation streams of knowing thyself in all ways and forms of loving thyself. Unconditionally of loving thyself through all position locations in position locations of formulas of loving thyself. You have to find a way to change your mindsets every single day. Okay? Your position of direction is confused because you are still in line communications of a graph in position locations of days. There's no days in central calculations of going forward. It's the same day, just different frequencies, different dimensions, right? So in position of one line, are you going through the same timeline or are you going through another timeline? What timeline are you in? What dimension are you in? Where are your thoughts? Where are you calculating and modify through going communications of pi? How many times are you going through the sector communications of time sectors of pi? How many formation locations are you going through back time communications of pi? How many rotations interference locations are you putting position locations of pi? Okay? So understanding line communication is everything through formation of yin and yang. Yin and yang. DNA. Two panels. Space and time. Creating a tree. Your chakra setting, 0. In position. Center calculation, earth rotation, center line in rotation, center communication settings. There's your earth. You are the center of time. Multi-pass. So, yes, class is amazing, isn't it? It's amazing because you want it to be amazing, right? So it all depends on how you feel. Emotional interference. Whoa, look at that. You start here, and now you're up here. So this is an 8 central line setting. 8 waving cycles, which is a delta, connection to harmonics. Right? So it gets confusing. So in this position line direction location goes into a back force line setting, into position locations, into a 6, into a rotation spin cycle. Setting communication of 6 lines, equal locations at the moon line setting. Moon line setting comes in position locations, all levels, moon here, and sun in rotation right here in correlation. Ooh-ah. See how that works? Everything I do is not going backwards, it's going forwards. You just think it's going backwards because you don't understand space and time of you. Powerful, isn't it? Right? So to understand the relationship is to really understand the partnership of you inside. Right? Understand what a half pipe is. It's all travel, rotation spin cycle. Understanding 12 line settings of going forward location. This is a half pipe going that way. Sending calculations to another set locations of a planet setting. All levels, this is locations of Jupiter, same location. There's Jupiter, right? Jupiter comes in position locations, recognizing line line connections in position location the moon setting. Jupiter sets line position location into its top rotation streamline in its triangulation. So everything is communication. Everything is communication. But everything is what? Yin and yang. It has to be. Which means what? Everything you do is going forward. It's not going back. The only thing that's going back is your mind. So if you change the alter state position of direction, you're always, 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 always moving forward. Okay? Soon as you get an emotional setting, you are going back through a half moon circle, which is a 6 anomaly. Okay? When you're pulling the past into the now, you will not know forward. You create a bigger loop until you see it. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. And the most important thing is if you get into infinity cycle in position of formula, let's say you get into 3, equal line conditions of 3 0 locations, right? 3 zeros, 3 sets line positions, right? So you got a Merkaba position locations. I'll just create the Merkaba so you understand what it is. This is the Merkaba, okay? So instead of the eagle line setting, it's a Merkaba. Just remember that, okay? That's all it is. That's all it is. It's two triangles in position locations to the Merkaba setting. That's the eagle line signing, okay? That is the eagle line sign. That's what it represents. Now you know. The north line, south line, east and west to its diamond core line setting. There's your teleportation unit, right? All right. So getting in that position line directions, you understand the three central line positions, right? So 3 line centers going forward is positioned over in line center locations, okay, into, let's say, 13 communications plus 4. So what is 4 line setting? Solar plexus, right? So you just have to understand where it is in chronological order. And everything of this is coming into this. Okay? So you get a 3 line setting. There it is right there. Fibonacci. Swirl, swirl communications, right? So you got a 4 line solar generation light setting, which is the center of operation setting. Okay? Now in position location, you got the 3 0 line settings in position locations, which is all levels of 6, 7, and 8. So set positions, equal line connections. Set locations 6, 7, and 8. There's your Merkaba. There is your teleportation unit. All levels of equation location. So this is how you turn 0, 0, 0 in position of 6, 7, and 8. So 0, 0, 0 bracket locations, equal locations is 6, 7, and 8, which is correlate system and set location. 0, 0, 0. See? See how that works? Now, this equal line connections to a paradox. Right? See what I did? I did a waving cycle. 6 is the throw pattern, sets line position locations. 7 is the position location in the galaxy setting. And 8 is your infinity cycle in set locations. Now, if you box the 8 line center interference, you have to time its positions of trifactor. Okay. So it's all about understanding how you change number sequence location of patterns, how you change 0 equals 1. That's how we start. 0 equals 1. But how does 0 equal 1? How does 0 equal 1? All right, so 0 line setting. This is 0, right? Now, equal line connection. 1 is position of this. Okay, 0 equals 1. That's how 0 equals 1. So they come together, which is what? Position line connections to your flux capacitor. All right, so this is VAS, volume, into acceleration. Okay, so you're VASting your correlations to its volume correlation setting, to its acceleration line setting at travel location. Okay, which is connected to a half pipe setting into 6 line communication settings. Hooah. Done by equation. So I'm just showing you how it's all connected, how you set lines and how you communicate to zeros and numbers, letters, and shapes and symbols. It's all levels of position, location, and harmonics, guys. It's very powerful. So you see one position. How does 1 equalize position of 2? How does 1 equal 2? How does 1 equal 2? So I'm showing you how 1 can change the position location to GOD at anything formation line setting. How does 1 equal 2? Any idea? Okay, so you take the 1 line setting, all right? It rotates the spin cycle over here, which is this half pipe of 6 locations to moon setting, right? Then you set line position of 1 line and ground line setting line in rotation into 0 gravity comes in cross location, which is a 2 security. That's how 1 equals 2. Hoo-wah. Isn't that amazing? How 1 becomes 2. I'm showing you so you can understand what you are doing through your formulas of equation. Okay? Very complicated. And you guys want to go up to 45 and 56 to your tracker settings and formulas? And look how complicated this is, right? But it's easy. It's easy, right? So you understand the importance of what you're doing now through your formulas? How you get these things through its equation? How one becomes two? Amazing, isn't it? Anything can change into anything. You just have to recognize these things. So what you're doing with the numbers is what? Moving forward. If you're moving back, you're not creating. You're stagnatic. You're in a wireline setting. You're in a trap interference. If you go to two-line setting at a box locations into a position line setting into Metatronich cube interference line position locations into two-line settings and three-line rotation interference and positional box line conditions high setting, how are you going to get that out? How are you going to get that out? That's all levels of youth and negative. How are you going to release that? Right? Bring it out through equation. 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 Bring it out through equation in set locations. And there it is in two setting. Free. See? So anything you lock, you can free. But it's got to be in the mind. The adaptation cycles and set line position location directions is all levels of channel operation. Okay? So that's what you guys got to get into. Because on your test on Monday, you have to start understanding what you're doing through their GODs of numbers, letters, shapes, and symbols. Because they change very, very fast, guys. Setting you guys up in your data streams in 4-line panels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5-line panel settings in position locations to one graph interference, indirect locations into 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and set location. Now, 1-line center sets position of 2, 2-line centers is 3, set location of 4, 4 position of 5. So every second on the dial, 5 turns into 4. 4 turns into 0, 0 turns into 3, 1 turns into 0, 1 turns into 0, 5 turns into 0, 0 turns into 6, 6 turns into star line setting, 0 turns into box locations, set location. Now you understand why you have to be simple with your equations? Breaking things down, right? So that's what you're doing is you're creating a data stream. So you go from this line to this line to this line to this line communications to this line communications. There it is, one panel line. Okay. Which is positions to what? Your pyramid setting. Film strip, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in positions. 2 panels in set location. There's your pyramid. Right? But what's inside is you and story. Through 11 channel operated streamlines of solar systems. So the question mark is set lines. So it's a half-line pipe and high center line position. Setting correlation system in position line direction. So it's kind of like half of a light bulb, but the set line position location is a center line communication when it comes into half earth line rotations in set location. So the question mark is basically question on your setting. What is a question mark? Is a half-line signal through position locations to a parallel that sets position location to two channel operation of N8 center. Right? That's a question mark. 2 waving cycles, a high setting. Triangle line position location into a pyramid set rotation, position location, a travel setting. So once you recognize the Fibonacci set lines, then you send the hieroglyphic locations into the aerodynamics. Okay, how to travel locations into 2 equal locations into the triangle sets, into all levels of negative over positive over to position of 4 plus 2 line settings, equal locations into position of 60,000 line settings in set locations into bracket of 3 line setting rotations. There's a formula, there's an equation. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay? So the why is the how, yes. But see, the thing is, this is how it streams its setting. So this is why. So the why becomes this. Okay. So the why turns into a flux capacitor. Who would have thought? Understand position, line, direction is the balance of U. So this is a Y, but this is a flux capacitor. Yeah! I'm ready to go. Blast off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hooah. Victory! Victory! Okay? All through body language. Reaction, location, position, location, spectral line, inner line, rotation, operation, height setting. Position, location, direction. So, try to understand that through equation. All right? I'm having a lot of fun with you guys. Now you understand the simplicity is all levels of what? Everything that I do is going forward. Nothing I do is going back. If I'm going back, I'm showing you through reference. You do not want to bring your thoughts going forward in position locations if you don't understand the numbers of your equations of God. Do you understand that? Because your numbers are changing the seconds per hour per value. It positions the vast volume through velocity. They're traveling very fast. Some of you guys are mocking. Through 1 second of one channel, one operation, all through a triangle. That triangle is now a 2. That triangle is now 2 to a 1. That 1 is 4 zeros in location. All through one position of one letter, of one number, of one shape or one symbol. So it's not the same equation, is it? You see how it's connecting now? Everything you set up has to go back to the equation. It has to go back to the center operation. Okay? So everything that you do is yin and yang. It has to be. The process is moving forward and not moving back. Because if you get in backline settings, then you come in position locations to what? Butterfly effect. Woo! Perceptions of confusion with your thoughts. So the zero line center location is the box line interference. Position location of matrix setting line inner rotations. Zero line position location is one line center. 1 million track interference of zero line position location is all over the triangle setting. All through butterfly effect. So what happens in set locations? Your numbers split. They don't go in alignment. They don't go in formation. They don't go in balance. Butterfly effect goes like this. It never stays in one of its high set interference. Okay? Do you understand the importance of what you got to do? Because every single time you change your thoughts, it's changing it by second. It's no longer a formula that you created because you can't make up your mind. You're traveling too fast in space, especially with the capacity. Okay? That's why you got to be simple. Simple, easy, direct. Okay? Message received? That was fun. All right, so no class tomorrow. You guys have till Monday. Okay? We'll go through the introduction locations. I'll do all of us space-time creator on school, and then we'll head over to Zoom. All right, will you guys show me your formulas of equation? Okay. Got to see the adaptations if you understand what you're doing. You giving me a piece of paper doesn't state anything, right? Do you understand what you just finished doing? Let's start there. That's the observation location that you're seeing through locations, through its system, right? All right. All right. Adios.